Greetings, fellow Obsidizens of the vast Obsidian community. Welcome to another video in the Obsidian for Noobs video series, featuring tutorials, tips, and tools for new users of the Obsidian personal knowledge management software. In today's video, I'm going to cover the topic of Obsidian Vaults. This is a subject that is often overlooked, and understandably so, since pretty much all the important Obsidian business happens within its vaults. Note-taking, knowledge management, mind mapping. These are the reasons we use Obsidian, and they are built upon Obsidian's tools, its notes, links, bases, and so on. And all of that occurs within vaults. But vaults are things in their own right, and there are several important and useful operations that we can perform on our vaults, and that is what I'm going to cover in this video. Specifically, the topics covered in this video are as follows. First, we'll talk about the vault switcher, also known as the vault profile. That's your access point for all your vault operations. Then we'll get into those operations. We'll cover creating a vault, opening a folder as a vault, revealing a vault in Windows File Manager, renaming a vault, moving a vault, copying a vault's ID, and removing a vault from Obsidian's vault list. Then we'll move on to some advanced vault operations, specifically backing up and restoring your vaults manually, copying a vault settings to another vault, and finally creating quick launch shortcuts to open specific vaults. Let's begin by defining what an Obsidian vault is. You will often hear people say that Obsidian is just a folder on your computer. While that's a technically accurate statement, it doesn't even begin to describe the scope and purpose of a vault. It's like saying, Windows is just a folder on your computer. Well, yeah, maybe, but more importantly, Windows is an operating system. When we, as Obsidian users, create a vault in Obsidian, we're creating it for a particular purpose, a particular use case. Thus, a vault is actually the entirety of an Obsidian project. It's a system of files, notes, links, plugins, themes, CSS snippets, and whatever else constitutes that particular project, that specific use case. Yes, it's all contained in a folder, but it's much, much more than just a folder. There are quite a few things that we can do with vaults. Some are simple basic vault operations for managing our vaults, while others are practical things that we can do that will make our life easier. Let's start with the basics. Vault operations for managing our vaults. When working with vaults, the first important thing to realize is that you are not limited to one vault in Obsidian. You can create multiple vaults if that suits your needs, and you can use and manage these vaults completely independent of one another. I use different vaults for reference, research, and various writing projects. When performing basic vault operations, you will most often begin by clicking on the vault profile area, also known as the vault switcher, which is located at the bottom of the left side panel. Clicking on this vault profile area in the Obsidian user interface will give you access to all your vaults via a list of those vaults, and it will also give you an option to manage your vaults. Clicking on a vault name in the list will open that vault in a separate instance of Obsidian. Clicking on Manage Vaults will open an interface that will offer more options with regard to performing vault operations. Opening Manage Vaults presents you with an interface as you see on your screen now. On the left side is a list of all of the vaults on your system. On the right side is access to some operations you can perform on vaults. From here you can create a new vault. You will be asked to provide a name for the vault and to select a storage location. You can open a folder as a vault. This is used if you've either manually moved or renamed a pre-existing vault folder. Please note that a vault is not registered with Obsidian, meaning Obsidian is not aware of that vault, until it has either created the vault or has opened that vault's folder. If you manually move or rename a pre-existing vault folder, which you can do in Windows File Manager, it will not appear in the list of vaults under the vault profile until you have registered that vault with Obsidian by opening its folder as a vault in Obsidian. Finally, you can set up or open a sync vault. That's the one topic I'm not going to cover here. Sync vaults is an advanced topic, and I want to keep this video limited to basic and intermediate operations, so I'm going to skip that one part. On the left side of the Manage Vaults interface, you will see a listing of your vaults from which you can open a vault by clicking on its name and perform a variety of operations on a specific vault by clicking on the 3 vertical dots to the right of its name. The More Options. Let's take a look now at all these vault operations in action. Okay, I'm in my Obsidian test vault, or I should say my Obsidian demo vault. And if you look down in the lower left corner at the bottom of the left side panel, this is the vault switcher, also known as the vault profile area. The name of the currently open vault appears here. So this vault that we're working in now is called my demo vault. And if I click here, I'll get a list of all of the vaults on my system that Obsidian is aware of. And again, by aware of, what I mean is I'll get a list of all the vaults on my system that have been registered with Obsidian. In other words, either created by Obsidian or opened as folders by Obsidian. You can rename vaults, you can move vaults strictly through Windows File Manager outside of Obsidian. If you do that, those vaults will not appear on this list because Obsidian will not be aware of them. In other words, they're not registered with Obsidian. You register them by opening them as a folder, which we'll see now under Manage Vaults. So here, if I click on any one of these vault names, Obsidian will open that vault for me as a separate instance of Obsidian. So my current vault, my demo vault, will stay open, and Obsidian will open another instance of Obsidian with the selected vault. Let me do that by clicking on the cooking vault. Here's my cooking vault. You could see it's opened in its own instance of Obsidian because my original vault is still open. All right, I'll close that. And let's go back to the switcher. In addition to a list of all the vaults that it's aware of on my system, at the bottom, there's an option to manage vaults. I'm going to click on that now. When we open that, we have again a listing of all the vaults on the system that Obsidian is aware of. That's on the left. And on the right, we have 3 options. The first option on the right is Create New Vault. If I click on that, Obsidian will create a new vault. It will ask me for a name for the vault, and it will ask me to select a storage location for that vault. And once I've done that, it'll create the vault under that name. It'll create its folder in that storage location, and it will open that in Obsidian. My second option is to open a folder as a vault. This is how you register vaults with Obsidian. Again, if using Windows File Manager, I move a vault or copy a vault or rename a vault, Obsidian will not be aware of that vault, and it will not appear in this listing until I execute this command over here, open folder as vault. Once I've done that, then Obsidian is aware of that vault, and it will appear in the list. The last option here is to open and set vault syncing. I'm not going to cover this one area in this video. That's more of an advanced topic, and I want to keep this video limited to basic and intermediate operations. So that's the one business with vaults that I'm going to skip. Okay, let's go through some of these. First, let me create a vault. I click on Create. It asks me for the vault name. I click in that box. I'll call it New Vault. It'll ask me for a storage location. If I click on Browse, it'll open my file manager. I can navigate to a particular folder, and then once I've selected the storage location, I click Create, and it creates the folder for the vault in that storage location under the name I've given it here, and it will open the vault as well. I'm not going to go through all that now, but that's the process. Going back, open folder as vault. If I click Open, it'll open Windows File Manager. I can navigate to a folder of a vault that I have. Again, a vault I may have renamed, or I may have moved to a different location. I'll click the Open button. I'll navigate to the location of that folder, and I'll select that folder. Obsidian will open that vault as a new instance of Obsidian, and it will register the vault, meaning it will appear in the vault list on the left. Going back to the left column to the listing of vaults, Notice that underneath each vault's name is the path to that vault's location on your system. And to the right of each vault's name are 3 vertical dots. These are the more options. If I click on that, 5 options are presented to me. The first one, Reveal Vault in System Folder. If I click that, it will navigate to that vault on my computer. In other words, we'll open Windows File Manager and show me the exact location of the folder for that vault. The second option, Rename Vault. If I click on that, it allows me to give this vault a different name in this window here. I'm not going to do that. By the way, you cannot rename a vault that is open. Right? You can only do this with vaults that are closed. Our third option is Move Vault. If I click on that, it will open Windows File Manager and ask me to navigate to a location where I want to move the vault to. Once I select that area, that folder, it will then physically move the vault folder to that location. If you move a vault in this way, then Obsidian is aware of the vault, and it will be registered with Obsidian, and it will appear in the vault list of Obsidian. It's when you move vaults manually using Windows File Manager that you are required to open the folder as a vault to register it with Obsidian. But if you move that vault from within Obsidian, then Obsidian is aware of the vault, and it will appear in the list. Copy Vault ID. Each vault is identified not only by its name or its title, but also by a vault ID, which is simply a sequence of letters and numbers. And you can refer to a vault by its name or by its vault ID. I'll use vault IDs later in some of the advanced operations that I demonstrate. But for now, if I click on this, it simply copies the vault ID for whichever vault I'm associated with in the list. It'll copy its vault ID to the clipboard, and then I can paste that number or that code in any place where I want to work with it. And again, I'll demonstrate that later. Finally, Remove from List. If I click this, it removes the selected vault from this listing. It does not delete the vault. The vault still exists. It remains on my hard drive, but it's removed from the list. In other words, it's unregistered with Obsidian, and Obsidian is no longer aware of it. If I want to re-register that vault with Obsidian, I have to go on the right-hand side here and select Open Folder as Vault. So again, if I select Remove from List, it only removes it from the list. It does not delete that vault. The vault still exists. These are the 5 operations you can perform by clicking on these 3 dots next to a vault's name. Okay, moving on to the advanced vault operations. The first one I want to talk about is backing up and restoring vaults manually. You can make a backup copy of any of your vaults manually outside of Obsidian simply using Windows File Manager. You copy the vault's folder, navigate to a storage location, and paste that folder in that location. Obviously, if you're backing it up for safety reasons, you should put that backup copy outside of your system. In other words, on an external hard drive or an external SSD or a USB stick. I back up my vaults in this manner. I make 2 copies of all of my important vaults, and I do it exactly in the way I just said. I put 1 copy on an external hard drive, and I put another copy on a USB stick. This way, if God forbid something happens to your vault, if your PC crashes or your main hard drive crashes or you accidentally delete a vault, you have a copy of it that you can restore. And the way you restore it is simply go to that backed up copy it, and then go to the location where you want to work with it and paste it there. Right, you can easily back up and restore vaults by simply copying the vault folder and pasting it to another location. Now, there are other ways to back up your vaults. I'm not going to discuss them here. They're discussed on Obsidian's help website. You could see it here, back up your Obsidian files. They talk about various methods using plugins, cloud-based services, external hard drives. That's the method I use, the method I just discussed, and some other ones. I only do the manual backup, but if you're interested in some of the other ones, you can go on the Obsidian help site and read about that there. Here's my Windows File Manager. Here's the list of some of my test vaults. If I wanted to back up one of these vaults, let's say my cooking vault, I would simply right-click on it, select Copy, and then go to whatever storage location I want to put the backup. As I said, ideally an external hard drive or a USB stick, and I would paste it in the location on that other drive where I want to put that copy. You must copy the entire vault's folder in order to back up the vault. Right, there's a bunch of stuff inside these folders. What we want to do is copy the entire folder itself. The second advanced vault operation I want to talk about is copying a vault's settings to another vault. Let me demonstrate what I'm talking about here. In this demo vault that I've been using, I have a variety of plugins and a variety of CSS snippets to enhance this particular vault. If you look at the file panel on the left-hand side, you can see that my folders and subfolders have specific colors and that there are folder icons next to the folder names. That's accomplished with the CSS snippet. I've discussed that in another video. And I have some other snippets in here as well. If I go into Settings, under Appearance, and scroll down, you can see in the CSS snippets area, I got quite a few snippets. Only 2 of them are turned on. This one here is the one that's controlling the navigation panel colors and icons that you just saw. Likewise, if I go to Community Plugins, under Installed Plugins, you can see that there are several plugins here, and most of them are turned on. Here's one of those plugins, this calendar plugin. By the way, I want to say a little bit about this. I don't want to get too involved, but this calendar plugin is not the standard calendar plugin that's offered through Obsidian's plugin repository. I actually had this calendar plugin created by artificial intelligence. I'm sure all of you know that artificial intelligence is capable of writing computer code. And when I learned that, the thought occurred to me, gee, I wonder if it can write the code for Obsidian plugins. So I tried it and experimented with it, and sure enough, it can, or at least some of the LLMs can do it. And once I saw that they could do it, I started to give it various projects to do. These things are written primarily in JavaScript. I do not know how to code in JavaScript, so I'm not capable of writing my own plugins. I stay away from community stuff because I don't want anything to get outdated or to fail in either an update of Obsidian, or if the creator of the plugin or the theme decides to not support it anymore. So I try to stay independent as much as I can. If you've looked at my other videos, you know I do a lot of CSS work to style my vaults on my own. And now that I found out that artificial intelligence can write the code for plugins, I use it to create plugins for me. This calendar plugin worked out really nice. I can change the year. I can navigate to different months. If I click on a date, it will open the daily note for that date, and it will enclose that date in a purple box. It's a really handy plugin. It works really nicely. I have a variety of other plugins again. I'm considering making a video soon about these plugins just to kind of show you what AI is capable of and give you an idea how I went about having the AI do this. I'm not going to make these plugins available. I don't want to compete with Obsidian's repository. I think having a controlled repository is a good idea. But I think it's nice for Obsidian users to be aware of the fact that AI can create plugins for Obsidian, at least in some cases. Not all of them are successful. I've had some that just failed and could never work. I've had others that worked on the first go, and I've had some that I had to go back and forth with the AI and keep prompting it and tweaking it until I got it to work fine. But I've got some amazing plugins from artificial intelligence in that way. In any event, to get back to what we're talking about here, I have this vault that has all the CSS snippets and has plugins in it. So it's tailor-made to the way I like it. Let's say I'm going to create a new vault, and I want all these features in that new vault. Instead of recreating them piece by piece, one at a time, what I can do is I can copy the settings from this vault, meaning not only the settings I have, but the snippets the CSS snippets, and the plugins, and I can paste those settings into the new vault. And the new vault will immediately take on all of that styling and all of that capability. And the way we do that is as follows. I'm going to go to my demo vault in Windows File Manager. I'm going to open the folder for that vault, and I'm going to copy the .obsidian folder. That's where all the settings and the plugins and the CSS snippets reside. So when you want to reproduce all of that, settings, plugins, snippets, in a brand new vault or in a different vault, you simply copy the .obsidian folder from the vault that contains the settings and plugins that you want, and you paste that in the folder for the new vault. So let me create a new vault now. I'm going into the Vault Switcher, clicking on it, and clicking Manage Vaults, and I'm going to create new vault. I'm going to call it Totally New Vault, and I'm going to put it where I have all of those test vaults, which is here. You can see right now there is no vault titled Totally New Vault, but once I select that folder and click Create, it opens the new vault, and it created the vault in that folder of my test vaults. Okay, let me shrink down the original vault, and let's take a look at this new vault. That's Graph View. I'm going to close it. This vault is in pristine condition. It's brand new. So it comes the way a vault comes in its default creation state. In other words, if I go in Settings under Appearance, there are no snippets, and there are no community plugins. Right? This is a clean, pristine vault. There are no folders, and there are no files other than the welcome file. I can create some folders. I'll create a subfolder. And we'll create some notes. Okay. Everything is bland in the file panel. Right? The folder titles, the subfolder titles are all the same bland color. There are no folder icons. In other words, I don't have any of the fancy features that I have in the demo vault we were working on before. There's no calendar here. We saw there are no plugins. There's no CSS. Remember, I copied the .obsidian folder from that demo vault that had all the fancy features. What I'm going to do now is open Windows File Manager, open my Totally New Vaults folder, and I'm going to paste that .obsidian folder that I copied from the other vault here. Now there's already a .obsidian folder here, but it only has the basic things that come with a brand new vault. When I paste the .obsidian folder that I copied from the other vault here, naturally, Windows is going to ask me if I want to replace the existing one. It's going to take a while because there's a lot of crap in that other folder from the other vault, all the plugins and CSS snippets, so it's going to take a while. I'll speed it up. But eventually it is going to ask me, do you want to replace the existing folder? Okay, here we go. Yes, I do. Now the existing .obsidian folder is going to be wiped out, its contents lost, and it's going to be replaced by this other one. Now, when I open the totally new vault, I should see that the folders in the file panel on the left have the colors, their names of different colors, and the folder icons with them. And I should have access to my calendar plugin. So let's take a look at that. I'm going into my Vault switcher in my demo vault, and I'm going to open the totally new vault from here. And we see that it now took on all of the settings and features from the demo vault. I'm in the totally new vault. The folders and subfolders are colored now. They've got icons with them. I've got my calendar plugin here. What I did was I moved all of the settings and CSS snippets and plugins from the vault I was working on, the demo vault, and I moved it into this totally new vault. So it was pristine when I created it. No fancy features, nothing basically but the welcome note. And then by simply copying and pasting the .obsidian folder from the existing vault into this vaults folder, I've given it all of the features, all of the settings and plugins and CSS snippets from that vault. Now, it does not give it the files or folders from that vault. Right? These are separate. None of that was copied over. When you copy the .obsidian folder, you're simply copying the CSS snippets, the plugins, and the settings. Now, you could copy those notes and folders over if you want to, but that's a separate entity. They're not contained within the .obsidian folder. They're contained outside of that folder. And you can copy those over from vault to vault as well. But as far as reproducing the settings, you simply copy the .obsidian folder. Okay, that's that. Okay, the final advanced topic I want to talk about is creating quick launch shortcuts. This feature is very, very handy if you work with more than one vault in Obsidian. If you simply open the Obsidian app, I believe it opens to the last vault you were working on with it. And if you have several vaults, you may want the ability to be able to go to a particular vault instantly. And that's what this feature allows you to do. You can create quick launch shortcuts to specific vaults and even to specific notes within specific vaults. We're going to discuss that process now. Obsidian utilizes something called URIs, which stands for Uniform Resource Identifiers, to permit users to create links that can be used to open specific Obsidian vaults, either from within Obsidian or, as I'm going to demonstrate, from outside of Obsidian. One important thing to be aware of is that there are certain features that we use in naming folders or files or vaults that must be encoded when you're dealing with uniform resource identifiers. What comes up most frequently are blank spaces. While you are allowed to have a blank space in a file name or a folder name in Windows, you cannot have a blank space in a URI, a uniform resource identifier. If there are spaces in the thing you're referencing, then you must put %20 in place of the space. And I'll demonstrate that. You'll see several cases where I utilize that. Okay, so let's talk about how you actually create a shortcut to a specific vault. On screen, you see the code to do it. Everything from the beginning up to the equal sign is the basic code for this feature. After the equal sign, in place of this vault underscore name, you put the actual name of the vault that you want this shortcut to open. Or you can put the vault ID. Remember when we were working with the Manage Vaults and the 3 dots to the right of the vault names and the vault list? That was the more options. One of the options was Copy Vault ID. And I mentioned at that time that every vault is identified not only by its name, but by a vault ID, which is a sequence of letters and numbers unique to that vault. When you're referencing a vault with this shortcut technique here, you can reference it by its name, whatever name you gave it, or you can reference it by its vault ID. And if you choose to do it by the vault ID, then you would use that Copy Vault ID feature from the more options on the Manage Vaults to get that code. All right, so let me create a shortcut now to a vault on my system. I copy that code, and I'm going to create a desktop shortcut now. And I'm going to paste the code here. But in place of vault_name, I'm going to put the name of one of my vaults. Let's see the vaults I have here. Here, I have a vault called Cooking. No, better yet, let's do Vessi Vault. So I'm highlighting vault name, and instead I'm going to put the name of the vault I want to open, which was Vessi space vault. Now I cannot put spaces in URIs. This is where we use the %20 that I mentioned. All right, the actual name of the vault is Vessi space vault, but I cannot do a space here, so I'm going to put %20 and then vault. That's the code for the quick access shortcut. Next, Windows wants me to give it a name. I'll just call it Vessi Vault, and we'll say finish. I have a desktop shortcut. If I double click this, it will open that specific vault directly. In other words, I don't have to open Obsidian to whatever vault it was on when I shut it down last time and then go through the vault manager to find the vault I want. I can create direct shortcut links to specific vaults if I want to. So I'll double click this now. And here we are. If you look down at the lower left corner, I'm in my Vessi Vault. This was a vault I created for a novel I wrote. The main character in that novel was named Vessi, and I called the vault for that Vessi Vault. And you can see this is a character profile sheet for that character. That's how we can create quick launch shortcuts that we can put on our desktop to open specific vaults immediately. Let me make another. I'll make one to the cooking vault. Let's go back into the list here, and under Manage Vaults, here's the cooking vault. I'll click on More Options, and I'll click on Copy Vault ID. That'll copy the ID of the cooking vault to the clipboard. I'll close this. I'll shrink that down, and I'll open Properties here. There's the code for the link, and in place of Vessi Vault, I'm going to paste the vault ID for the cooking vault. I'll click Apply. I'll leave it called Vessi Vault, but now when I double click it, we should see the cooking vault open. And there it is, Cooking Dashboard. So that was creating a quick launch shortcut on my desktop to a vault using the vault ID. So again, to review very quickly, this first part up to and including the equal sign is the code you need for a quick launch shortcut. After the equal sign, put either the vault name or the vault ID. If you use the vault name, and if that name has spaces in it, put %20 wherever there's a space. Now you can also create shortcuts to specific notes within a specific vault. So you could have it open a particular vault at a particular note in that vault. This is really handy if you use dashboards or indexes for your vaults. A problem with Obsidian has been that there's no way to set the vault to open always on a particular note. And if you look in the Obsidian forums, you'll see very often people are asking questions or complaining about the fact that they want their vault to always open on their dashboard. And there's no way to set the vault to open on a particular note within it. I believe the way it works, no, I know for a fact, the note that a vault opens on is whatever note it was on when you closed the vault. So unless you remember to always close your vault on your dashboard, it's going to open wherever you left off. But if you create a quick launch shortcut on your desktop using the technique I'm going to go over now, you can set that up so it always opens to a particular note in that particular vault. And again, in most cases, people would like that to be their dashboard or their index. Okay, this is the structure when you want to create a quick launch shortcut that opens a particular note within a particular vault. You can see the beginning structure is the same as we saw before, up to the equal sign. And here you put the vault name or the vault ID. And then we have this additional part, and file equals, and where it says file underscore name, you would put the name of the note that you want the vault to open to. So in place of vault name, you put the name of the vault or the vault ID. In place of file name, you put the name of the note, the title of the note that you want it to open to. So for example, if I wanted to create a quick launch desktop shortcut that will open a note named hotkeys that is contained in a vault named test-2a, I would use the following structure. In place of vault name, I put the name of the vault, test-2a, and in place of file name, I put the name of the note within that vault. Let's set that up. Okay, I'm back in that cooking vault that we looked at before. There's the name of it down here in the lower left. And as you can see, that vault has a dashboard. It's called Cooking Dashboard. That's the name or the title of the note that constitutes the dashboard. I'm going to delete the shortcut to this vault that I have on the desktop that we created a moment ago, and I'm going to create a new one that not only opens this vault automatically, but opens it to this dashboard note in particular. So let me close it here. Let me delete it from the desktop, and we'll create a brand new shortcut. Now I previously copied the code that I showed you for creating a quick launch shortcut to a particular file in a particular note. So here, in place of test2a, I'm going to put the name of this vault, which is cooking. And in place of the note name, I'm going to put the name of the dashboard, which I believe was Cooking Dashboard. Now again, you cannot have spaces, so I have to put %20. Vault equals title of the vault, name of the vault, or vault ID, cooking. File equals the name of the note you want to open to. And if there's a space, put %20 where the space goes. And for here, I'll put cooking. Okay. Now, if I did this right, when I double click on this icon, it should open the cooking vault, but open directly to the dashboard of that vault. Okay, here goes. And there it is. Now, even if I go to a different note in the vault and then close the vault, normally when I reopen that vault, it opens to the note that it was on when I last had it open. But because of the way I set this quick launch shortcut, it always opens to the dashboard. This is a really, really handy feature to have if you have multiple vaults and if you have dashboards or indexes to those vaults. You can set up this quick launch so that it always opens to the index or to the dashboard of your vaults. And I do this with my vaults. So again, this is the format of the command if you want to open a particular vault to a particular note. Recreate this structure. After the first equal sign, put the name or vault ID of the vault you want to open. And after the second equal sign, put the name of the note that you want it to open to. And remember, if there are blank spaces in either the vault name and or the note name, you must put %20. So there you have it, working with Obsidian Vaults, an often overlooked but fundamentally important aspect of Obsidian operations. As you can see, there is more to vaults than simply creating and opening them. You can easily back up your vaults manually. You can quickly reproduce an existing vault settings and plugins in a new vault. And you can create shortcuts on your desktop to open a specific vault and even a specific note within a specific vault. As we saw, that last feature is very handy when you want a vault to open directly to its dashboard or vault index. Okay, fellow Obsidizens, that's all I have for now. I'll see you in the next video. Happy note-taking.